Yes, go.
So the incarnation term is widely used in sometimes multiple contexts. He's an incarnation, yes, but is he an expansion? Sometimes incarnation word is used as expansion. Then,
Okay, so you think it's an expansion, is also called incarnation.
He's Radha Krishna both words.
Sorry?
He's himself Radha Krishna, so he's not incarnation, he's Krishna himself.
So it's Krishna himself, it's not incarnation, Krishna himself.
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay, alright. So, yes, he's Krishna himself as opposed to an expansion or incarnation of Krishna. And we'll talk about what mood he took and why it's called combination of Radha and Krishna. Okay. So, basically what happened was Krishna came, how long ago? 5,000 years ago. He came 5,000 years ago and he performed his pastimes. But the pastimes that he was mainly concerned with are those that are performed in Vrindavan, where he spent 10 years and 7 months. First 10 years and 7 months of his life. They are the sweetest, most wonderful pastimes. And that is the actual Krishna. The one in Mathura and Dwarka is an expansion of Krishna, not Krishna himself. So anyway, don't go too much detail. I don't want to confuse you. The point is that we're talking about that Krishna who spent the 10 years, 7 months in Vrindavan, known as Shyam Sundar Krishna. So anyway, he performed his pastimes, and one of the major aspects of the pastimes of Vrindavan was something called Krishna Prema. But very special Krishna. Krishna means love of Krishna. Krishna Prema, very special kind, because it's Krishna Prema of the Brajavasis. So the residents of Vrindavan. What's the difference? Well, the difference is that we can love Krishna, but we love him because we want something. We can love him because we think it's our duty, he's done so much for us, we should do it. We can love him because we want something, as I said, or we can love him just because. Just because means don't want anything in return. Just want to love him. And it comes from the heart. So I don't have to make an effort for it. I don't have to read some book and say, this is the process to love Krishna, and therefore, no. It just comes from the heart, spontaneous. Of course, it can be in any of the 4 mellows, which is, I can love Krishna as a servant of Krishna. I can love Krishna as a friend of Krishna. I can love Krishna as a parent of Krishna. And I can love Krishna as a conjugal lover. And the hierarchy is that conjugal loving is the highest of the 4 mellows. And that's the mood that the gopis have. Now, what was so special about gopis' love? They basically said, we don't care about anything else. So forget the social customs, forget the relationships, forget about the reputation. We don't care what anybody thinks of us. We are going to Krishna. Mere to girdhar gopal, dusro na koi. Which means that I love Krishna and I don't care for anything else, anybody else, and I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, we are married and this and that, and he's not our husband, but we're going to be married. That's basically what Krishna is talking about in Bhagavad Gita 1866, where he says, Sarvadharmana parityajya mamekam shraddha. Just surrender. But surrender with no expectation of return. So that is, and then also it means that Krishna is the front of our life, back of our life, and center of our life. Krishna first, Krishna second, Krishna third, Krishna, 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 nobody else but Krishna. I don't know anybody but Krishna. That's the mood that was shown by these gopis to Krishna. So Krishna, when he wrapped up his pastimes, went back to Golaka, and he said, this was a great experience. But then he says, wait a minute. I showed the people in the material world what this Krishna Prem or Praja Prem is about, what it looks like. But that's not going to be enough, because people will say, yeah, we have an idea of what it is, but we don't know how to do it. So if you imagine a 4-year, 3-year-old boy or girl whom their mother wants to teach how to write A, B, C. So they can write on the board, they can write on a paper, but it's not the same until the mother holds the hand of the boy or the girl and helps him write. So Krishna said, I have to show them how to execute Krishna Prema in Braja Bhav, in the mood of Braja Gopis. So therefore, I'll come as a devotee and practice that surrender, practice giving that love, so people can see and learn how to. So that was one thing that he was thinking about. Second thing he said that, as I quoted from the Bhagavad Gita, Sardhamana Paityachi, Manakashochi. He said, I ask the devotees to surrender first. Then something will happen. But I know that in the age of Kali, people will not want to surrender. People are too stubborn, not very smart. They very much into false ego. They don't like to surrender. They will not surrender. Therefore, as Krishna, I asked for it, but when I come back, I will not ask for it. I will also not care what kind of qualification somebody has. Whether they are young, old, man, woman, PhD or only grade 1 or whatever, it doesn't matter. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, it doesn't matter. I'll give that Krishna Prema without any qualification. As Krishna, he said, I accepted service. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, I'm Sarvalok Maheshwar, which means I'm the master of all the masters. Which means I only accept service. He said, that's fine, but I want to serve. As Krishna, I did not serve. I want to serve. I accepted service from my devotees. Now I want to serve the devotees as well as myself. I want to see how that feels. I know how it feels to receive service, but I don't know how it feels to give service. So I want to do that. And then finally, he said that I have a rule which he talks about in Bhagavad Gita, Je jatha mam prapadyante, tans tatha bhajami. As you serve me, I shall reciprocate. Well, there was a problem. And we know about that problem from the pastime of Rasa Leela. When the gopis were looking for him, he disappeared from the scene. And they looked and looked and looked, and finally they got tired and they sat down, started talking about him, started chanting about him. Then he showed up. This is a famous Gopi Geet. You don't know about this. At the end of it, he shows up. And then they chastise him. Who do you think you are? At that point, Krishna gets on his knees. This Supreme Personality of Godhead, getting down to his knees, folding his hands like this, tears in his eyes. And he says, Na parayaham. Nirvatya Sanjam, the whole verse goes on. He says, I am unable to repay your debt. Because my rule is, my pratigya, my vow is that I shall serve you according to how you serve me. But my problem is that you please me, but you don't want me to please you. Nothing pleases you except my pleasure. So the only way I can please you is if I please me. That gives me a problem. Therefore, I am in debt of you. I cannot pay your debt even if I had the lifespan of Brahma. Just by the way, what's the lifespan of Brahma in Earth years? Anybody?
300 plus trillion years.
311 trillion years, 40 billion years. It's a little long, right? 311 trillion years. Even if I live that long, I should not be able to repay your debt. So therefore, let your service be your reward. But That wasn't enough. Now, let me ask you this. If we borrow lots of money from somebody, and he willingly gives it to us, and then we find we cannot repay that debt, what would we do? The least that we would do is go and tell everybody what a wonderful person. And I'm just sorry, the person forgives us the loan. We tell everybody, this is such a wonderful person, he gave me so much money as a loan, I could repay, and he said, that's okay for you. I'll go tell everybody what a great person this is. And Krishna said, I got to do the same thing because I have not been able to repay the debt of these gopis. Therefore, I'm going to tell the whole world how great they are, how wonderful their love for me is. So that was the thought process of Krishna. And he said, I don't want to wait. So basically, momentarily, he came back. But in that moment, 4,500 years had passed on earth. So 4,500 years after appearing in the material world, Krishna came back again as Lord Chaitanya. But there was one other thing that I forgot to mention. He said, I'm going to come back not as a master, but as a devotee. But what kind of a devotee? So he said, well, the highest is gopis. So I take their mood, which is surrender everything to me, everything for me. But there's one person higher than the gopis. That's Radharani. So I will take her mood. And in that mood, which is the topmost devotee of Krishna, in that mood I will appear in the material world. And Radharani said to him, it's okay, you're going, but you need real help from me. Krishna said, what do you mean? And she said, you will feel so much ecstasy in the love of Krishna. The same ecstasy that I feel in my heart. But you will not be able to handle it. You laugh, you jump high, you fall down, you get hurt, and do all sorts of things. You hit your head against the wall, all sorts of things. You'll get hurt. So you need protection, you need my kavach. So therefore take my complexion. So the complexion of Radharani is the kavach of Krishna to keep him getting hurt as he's feeling that ecstasy of his own love. So those are the things combined. That's why we say Krishna is Radha, Krishna, Milit Tanu. Milit Tanu means combined form. So combined form of Radha and Krishna is Lord Chaitanya. In other words, it's Krishna himself, but now carrying the mood of Radha. So that mood includes the pleasure she receives in loving him, the pleasure she receives in enjoying the sweetness of Krishna, which is something else that Krishna cannot do. It's like, example is given, if you ask sugar, how sweet are you? Well, sugar cannot tell you. Sugar doesn't taste the same. If you ask somebody else, they can tell you how sweet the sugar is. So similarly, Krishna cannot tell how sweet he is himself, but Radharani can. She says, I want to know, therefore I take your mood and then taste my own sweetness, and they say, that's what it's about. That's why everybody's going crazy. Yes. So that's what it means. He took his mood. Also took her experiences, took her feelings, and took her emotions. So with all that combined, he came, Krishna with all that combined is Lord Chaitanya. So that is who Lord Chaitanya is. Is that reasonably clear? Okay. Excuse me.
Proceed.
Thank you. All right. So we can also say Lord Chaitanya is Antar Krishna, Bahire Gauranga, which means inside is Krishna, which is Sham color, which is dark color. But outside, because of the complexion of Radharani acting as his kavach, protection, he looks golden, more than gold. So Antare Krishna, Bahire Gauranga. That's how Krishna became Lord Chaitanya. Now, there's a incident described in the Chaitanya that Lord Chaitanya was planning to come to Vrindavan, and he took a lot of people with him, and they started from Mayapur, Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. In the way, there was a place called Ramkeli. Now, Ramkeli is a very famous place now because that's where he met two very wonderful personalities that we all know as Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. Now, Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari in Krishna Leela. Now, Rupa Manjari is very special Manjari. Who are Manjaris, by the way? Just make sure everybody knows. Who are Manjaris? Second?
Who serves Gopi and
Who serves
he
Gopi?
serves
Okay.
Krishna.
Yeah. So, Radharani is the only one allowed to directly serve Krishna. She's assisted by her Sakhis, friends. And there are different categories of Sakhis. There's some called Priya Narma Sakhis. These are the Ash Sakhis that we all know, like Lalita, Vishaka, Induleka, etc. The Ash Sakhis. So they serve Radharani to help her serve Krishna. But then each of these Sakhis have their own set of what's called Manjaris who serve them. So Rupa Manjari was one of the Sakhis who served Lalita Sakhi. But she was such a wonderful Manjari that Lalita Sakhi and Radharani would allow her to serve Krishna directly. So that's how intimate Rupa Manjari was. So in other words, Rupa Manjari knew the heart of Krishna and Radharani very, very well. So now when Rupa Goswami, so Rupa Manjari as Rupa Goswami, is meeting Lord Chaitanya, who's Radha and Krishna combined, he knows their heart. He knows Lord Chaitanya's heart. And he knows Lord Chaitanya's characteristics. So offered his obeisances to Lord Chaitanya in the Ramkeli, and he chanted a verse that we all know and chant. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prempadaya Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaura. So the word Mahavadanyaya, what does Mahavadanyaya mean? Vadanya means merciful. Mahavadanya means like Mahaprasad. Very merciful, extremely merciful. But, a question comes to mind, what do you mean very merciful? I mean, Krishna is very merciful. Who can be more merciful than Krishna? Right? Well, we say that the devotees of Krishna are more merciful than Krishna. Krishna will show his mercy even to the demons, but how does he show that? Kills them and then gives them liberation. That is his mercy. So when it comes as Lord Nrsimhadev, as Lord Ramchandra, as himself, that's basically what is doing. But Radharani is even more merciful than Krishna. So when he takes her mood, he becomes even more merciful than he himself. And what does that mean? So what that means is that, first of all, he takes away all the conditions. You have surrender, no, you don't have surrender. You have to be a devotee, no, you don't have to be devotee. You have to be non-envious of him, no, you don't have to be non-envious of him. She takes away all those conditions. It doesn't matter who you are. Qualification, no qualification, deserving, not deserving, it doesn't matter. I'm going to give my mercy anyway. That's one part. But second part also, take a look at the age he came in. So he came in age of courage. Lord Nrsimhadev came in what age? Satya. Lord Ram came in? Krishna came in? So people in those ages were much better than people in the age of courage. Right? No offense. But even I'm just telling you what Chaitanya Bhagavata is saying. Sorry. Srimad Bhagavatam is saying. Yes. Kalo no. Prayana Paisha Sabhya, Kalo Asmin Yugejana, Manda Sumanda Matiyo, Manda Bhagyo Upatita. Basically it means that we are lazy, we're not very smart, very dull-witted, and we are disturbed, and we love to cause disturbance to other people. There's a Punjabi word called panga. We take panga jabarasti. So whenever there's an opportunity, we take panga. Create problems. So we are also very proud, very puffed up. We don't want to surrender. We don't want to accept advice. So while Lord Nrsimhadev, Lord Ram, Lord Krishna gave their mercy to people who were much smarter and much better, That's they said, no, I'll give mercy to these people who are born in the age of Kali with those characteristics. But not just that. So I'll take the worst kind of people, but I'll give them the highest award. What's the highest award? Krishna. So I'll take the worst kind of people and give them the highest kind of award. That is most merciful. So I'm not killing them, I'm killing the demoniac tendency inside them. But I'm not stopping there. Like for example, Krishna said, Sardhaman Paitache, Ma Mekam Sharabhaj. If you surrender, what will he do? Aham Swam Sarupapebhyo Mokshi Shamma. So I'll get rid of his sins. But that's it. Well, I don't want to say it, but you could say, well, big deal. Lord Chaitanya is going so much further from that. Not only will he take away your sins, he's going to give you love of Krishna. The highest, anything you can imagine, highest reward we can imagine. So take the worst, give the best. That's Mahamadanya. That is our Lord Chaitanya. That's the mood that Krishna comes in. He comes in as Lord Chaitanya. Excuse me. So actually, there's another thing. If you worship Lord Ram, whose love do you get? Let me ask you again. If you worship Lord Ram, whose love do you get? It's not a trick question. Ram, yeah. If you worship Lord Krishna, whose love do you get?
Krishna.
If you worship Lord Nrsimhadev, whose bhakti do you get? Right? If you serve Lord Chaitanya, whose worship do you get? Krishna. There's a difference. There's a difference. So if you serve Lord Chaitanya, you get Krishna Prem. So that's what I was quoting before. It says, Chaitanya Charita Likhi Shuno Ek Mane Anayas Pabe Prem Krishna Charita. It says that, please listen attentively. This is Krishna's Kaviraj Singh, I'm not saying that. Krishna's saying, I'm writing all these pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Please hear them, read them with focused mind. It's not a novel. Don't do speed reading. Study it. Study it means look at this, understand the context, understand the meaning, and then ask yourself, how does it apply to me? And then try to apply it. That's what it is. So Krishna's was saying, do that. And anayase means right away, immediately. You will obtain the highest highest reward, which is the love of Krishna. So, Lord Chaitanya Lord Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya to give us that Krishna Prema. And this Krishna Prema had not been given by anybody for a very long time. Like, name me one incarnation who came and gave Krishna Prema to everybody. One incarnation. There have been trillions and trillions of incarnations of Krishna. Cannot count them. Someone said that you can count the waves of ocean, but you cannot count the number of incarnations. You can count the sand particles on a beach, but you cannot count the incarnations. You count the number of stars in the sky, but you cannot count them. So out of all those, who gave Krishna Prema? Nobody. Nobody. Except Krishna when he came as Lord Chaitanya. Even Krishna himself did not do that. He says, if you already have it, then I'll enjoy it. If you don't have it, I'll take care of your sins. Lord Chaitanya said, no. Even if you don't deserve it, even if you don't come to me, even if you don't surrender, I'll give it to you anyway. That's all Lord Chaitanya. So, it's 6 o'clock, right? So, 5 moments, sorry. So I'm going to also talk about one verse that Vishwanath Chakravarti, one of the acharyas at that moment, wrote to tell us what did Lord Chaitanya really teach us. There's 4 things Lord Chaitanya told us. It says, Aradhyo Bhagavan Brijesh Tanya Tadtham Vrindavan. He says, who's the worshipable deity for all of us?
Krishna.
Krishna, but which Krishna? There is Vasudeva Krishna, there is Mathuranath Krishna, there is Sikadev's Krishna, Ram is Krishna, Kurma is Krishna, Matsya is Krishna. Which Krishna?
Shyam Sundar.
Shyam Sundar Krishna. Shyam, who's the son of Nanda Maharaj, Brajesh Tanya. Not anybody else. Not Mathura Nath. Not Dwarka Nath. Of course, none of the other incarnations. But Shyam Sundar Krishna are where? Tat Dham Vrindavan. The one who lived in Vrindavan. So, our worshipable deity is that Shyam Sundar Krishna. Thus, we don't worship Vasudeva Krishna, 4 hands, and Shankara Gada Padma. We don't worship. We worship Krishna with the flute. That Krishna who lost wrestling matches to his friends. That Krishna who got scared with her thunder in the sky and ran to his mother. That Krishna to whom his friends will feed their juta. They'll eat it and they give the other half to him. That Krishna, that's the Krishna we worship. Okay, then how should we worship him? It says, Ramya Kanchit Upasana Brajabadhu Vargateya Kalpita. It says that we should serve in the mood of the gopis. We talked about what the mood of the gopis was. Right? Everything for Krishna, 100% surrender to Krishna, love him from the heart, don't do anything else. I don't care who says what, don't care what else happens. We just love Krishna, our life revolves around Krishna, and that is it. I know nothing but Krishna. Third thing he told us, Srimad Bhagavatam, Puranam Amalam. Study Srimad Bhagavatam. But again, as I was talking about before, study does not mean read like a novel. Study. Study every day. Become absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam every day, all the time. And if you do that, then Premartho Pumanama, then you will automatically develop love of Krishna, which is the highest goal for any human being. So, 4 things told us. Worshipable deity is Lord Krishna. You should serve him in the mood of the gopis, study Srimad Bhagavatam, absorb in that study of Bhagavatam, and develop love of Krishna. The 4th thing. That's what Lord Chaitanya said our human life is about. He came here in this material world to teach us those 4 things. So again, Krishna Prema, and sorry, one thing I forgot. And he gave us the process to do that. What's the process? Chanting of the holy name. That chanting of the holy name, where does it come from? Golok, right? Golok Premadhan, Harinam Sankirtan. So he brought that from Goloka, because Krishna, he can do that. And he gave it to all of us for free, with very little effort on our part, simply because he is Mahavadana. So I think my time is up. I'm going to stop. Is there any questions? Maybe if you have time for questions? Yes, Prabhu. I can take some questions. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, what should be the answer? Is Mahaprabhu an incarnation or not?
The answer is no. He's Krishna himself, in the mood of Radha. Yes. Now you can say it, but no, it's Krishna himself. I'm sorry,
It's not even on.
He has a question.
I'm sorry, please.
Okay. Well, I would say in simplest form of what I got from this is a mango does not know the taste of a mango. Yes. So
Yes.
that's what he wanted to have, is to be a devotee and...
Correct. That's one of the moods.
Yes.
One of the reasons.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I just like that simple aspect where it's like the mango does not know the taste of what
Okay.
it tastes like.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
Hi Krishna Guru.
Actually,
Just wanted to ask about, you mentioned about Lord Chaitanya receiving the golden complexion
Yes.
to protect himself. Could you expand a bit on that? That was a little confusing for me in terms of how does that protect him, in what way it is?
no, basically, she said that you need my protection because you'll not be able to control your movements. and you'll hurt yourself physically. Therefore, take this and then protect you. I think this is basically an expression of love of Radharani for him, and Krishna can protect him very well. But again, when you love somebody so much, you don't care about their powers, you want to do something for them. I think that's where it comes from. Okay, it doesn't look like there are any other questions, so thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Rupanuga. Anyway, let's give him a big round of applause. So for the next part, we'll start with the Abhishek. So Pujari is just going